How can you ignore the girl next door? Tra-la-la-la-la. I think it's all right. Now, let's see. They don't make girls like they used to. I know, I take them apart. I wonder where my brother George is. You stupid wolf! How many times have I tell you that you shouldn't sneak up behind me? And you've got to stop eating that Puss in Boots cat food. Idiot. I needed you. Where were you?
Oh, I've been to the dentist. These here are just temporary fillings.
Fool you. I told you never go into town. They might recognize you.
Oh, don't worry about that. I gave a phony name. And besides, the dentist, he won't talk. I killed him.
Really? You fool! They'll find the body.
Oh, no, they won't. I played it smart. I put the body in the waiting room. They won't see it but twice a year.
I'm sorry I ever took up with you. What were you when I found you? Nothing. You did commercials with Charles Antel.
Please, master, don't yell at me. You'll make me neurotic. And didn't I go to the blood bank and get your lunch? And didn't I get this here girl for you?
Oh, take her out. She gives me a headache. Put her in the deep freeze with the others.
Yes, master.
I thought you wanted it spooky.
Ooh, we like it spooky. Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Wednesday night Scream Stream Mini-sode. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
We're great. I just drank like a whole can of Dr. Pepper. I'm feeling
Ooh, you got the corn syrup and the whatever, all the trosses flowing through you.
I got all 23 flavors.
The red dye number, whatever, it's just all in your bloodstream, and it's just got you in that perfect middle ground to give a great show. So good. I'm glad that you're preparing properly. Thank you for being here. Thanks everybody for tuning in to our third week of Shocktober. And we are fully in the Halloween season, everybody. It is, if you're not feeling it, then you don't have to look far to find some spooky movies or go find some spooky music to listen to. I mean, this is the time of year.
Yeah, if you're not in the Halloween spirit by now, what are you doing?
You're running
out of time.
You're gonna miss the boat. I mean, look, it's understandable. This time of year can be really busy for a lot of people. You get caught up doing other things. You're running from one chore to the next. You don't have any time to just enjoy the season. stop and think about this. I want everybody, you too, Evan, and the audience out there, have you even taken a minute to just stand outside and look at the trees and look as a gust of wind brings down a whole swath of leaves and just take in the air and the sereneness of that moment? I am speaking from experience because I did this, I think it was last week. And I was like, I don't know the last time that I did that I was just like struck by a gust of wind and a leaf fall and just it's fall.
Just awestruck by nature.
Awestruck by nature, awestruck by the time of year. I love this time of year. So if you haven't gotten the chance to appreciate it, don't let it pass you by. It's all around you. Outside, inside, on the computer, on the phone. Go ahead, Evan.
If you're not in the autumn spirit by now, go look at a tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's Garrett's advice.
That is, you want to be what did they is it a real thing? I'm sure it is. Family Guy, they call them leafers, right? All the people who travel to somewhere else to go watch the leaves fall.
Sure, yeah.
So you could be a leafer, that's a good.
I mean, there's a lot of states where you just don't have trees like that. You gotta drive somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're really committed, you don't have any trees, go find a nice wooded area. I mean, maybe you're lucky enough you just have one in your backyard. Lucky. Evan, I know you're lucky. I know you could step out your back door right now and just.
I could be awestruck by nature anytime I wanted.
Even at night. Ooh,
I can look at a tree anytime I want to.
Anytime he wants to. The luxuries that we have. And so this is a luxurious time of year, man. An opulent time of year. Halloween is that time to just, again, indulge in movies and candy and tricks and treats and all kinds of good stuff. And we're certainly trying to do that over here on the Scream Stream. Had a good old time last week on Friday the 13th. We had a fun celebration. We had a blast. Did something very different. Which will be coming to our YouTube audience soon enough. We broadcasted on Twitch. We were dealing with some community guideline strike. It's of course invalid. I won't go into it on here, but we were basically off of YouTube for a week. So now we're back. We're here. We're hopefully going to stay here. If, God forbid, during Friday night's movie this week, if I get an email saying they've detected copyrighted material, then I'll just go. We'll take it off YouTube. Just go to Twitch. I don't know. We will try not to get a strike and get barred off of YouTube, because if it happens again, then it's 2 weeks, and we can't miss the last 2 weeks of October. That actually happened to us at the end of last October. We got a 2-week strike, and it was not good. It was went into a real lull during November of last year. So hoping to keep our record a little more clean, a little more spotless, so that we can keep bringing all this public domain horror goodness to you every Wednesday and Friday. Of course, the past 7-8 Wednesdays, give or take a week here and there, we have been indulging every Wednesday night in just episode after episode of heinous crime, as we've taken trips to 13 Demon Street with our host, Lon Chaney Jr. And it's been a lot of fun. It's certainly been a journey, I would say. Every trip to 13 Demon Street is eventful. And
tonight's title is pretty intriguing.
Without a doubt, the most interesting title of any of these episodes by a mile, I think. And I'll go ahead and say the title of tonight's episode is Never Steal a Warlock's Life. Warlock. La, la, la. It's almost a tongue twister, but not quite. Never steal a warlock's wife. Like, I want to say a warlock's life, because the
Yeah.
two W's are like kind of getting me hit me in the mouth the wrong way. So great title, Warlock's Wife. Never steal a war. I see. I can't do it. I can't. Warlock is a hard word for me to say, and it shouldn't be, because I know I'm going to be saying it a lot on Friday, because I didn't realize how on theme tonight's 13 Demon
this
Street.
week. Yeah, I thought you planned this.
I did not plan which week, but it's which week here on the show. So
which week is it?
We're not getting into a whole Abbott Costello bit. Okay, we as we saw,
we're better than that.
We're better than that. We saw in our off time this past Saturday just how exhausting Abbott Costello can be. Little shout out there to S Sync and Fresh Rogan. But yeah, I mean, it is Witch Week here on the show, and it's a great title for tonight's 13 Demon Street. So, and it sounds like, to me, it sounds a little humorous. Like,
yeah, it sounds like a. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be, but it sounds like a kid's book title.
Yeah, it does sound. What were those books?
Paperback novel.
What were those as a kid? Why can I not think of them? They were. It was like Frankenstein doesn't plant petunias. You remember those? Do you guys remember those?
Yeah,
oh my god!
Like the substitute teacher is the Wolfman. Or
bro, I
like
totally forgot about those books. I'm like, it's crazy how much of a mind blank I've run on those. I have not thought about that since like middle school, or maybe even elementary school. I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you remember those? Like, I read a bunch of those, but I really liked those. But
Yeah,
obvious.
Dracula is my baseball coach.
Right, that kind of stuff. Obviously, I liked those books. Man, I hadn't thought about that in years. Oh, that's so cool. Those books, dude. I need to go look up. We need to go look up all the titles, and then we need to come up with like a whole bunch of like fake public domain inspired book titles. Like, The Ape Man was my Uber driver. I don't know. They'll come up with something good, but better than that, obviously. But that's the beauty of public domain titles. Use whatever. Well, titles, actually, you can't copyright a title. Did you know that? I mean, some people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that why you can have like multiple things called the same thing?
Yeah, it's a common misconception that you can't name a movie a title that's already been taken by another movie, because you can't copyright a title.
Okay.
You can copyright, again, it's all about the specific content, and there's very specific, but you can't just copyright a title. So that's a fun little factoid for you.
So I'm writing a movie called Star Wars.
Yeah, now as long as it doesn't deal with any galaxy battles between any authoritarian type forces and any rebel type forces, or any characters even remotely close to the Skywalkers or Darth Vader, anybody, Obi-Wan, but you call it Star Wars, you're okay. But if it's even
it's about stars. It's about
well, then that
I can't decide if it's about Hollywood going to war, or
if it's a document,
galaxies going to war.
Both of those would be good. If it's a documentary, it's okay. I see Ethan is in the YouTube chat. What up, Ethan? Nice to have you in the house this evening. We're getting ready to again break into this very whimsically titled episode of 13 Demon Street. That's a good word for the title.
Sounds like good advice, really. Never steal a warlock's wife.
Yeah, rules to live by. When did this become an advice show? That's what Lon Chaney should have hosted, like some kind of horror advice show. where, you know, each episode is a lesson in the realm of horror about general do's and don'ts. I think a general don't obviously would be, you know, never steal a war. I can't do it. I can't say Warlock's wife. That's really hard for me. Let me hear you say it.
Warlock's wife?
See,
I feel like I'm being extra careful saying it though.
You're good at enunciating. I am not always the best at enunciating, but I try.
Well, that's because I went to Juilliard.
That is how you got into Juilliard. I forgot. Yeah. Yeah. No, not really. Sure. You can say whatever you want, Evan. It's the internet.
Yeah. I can lie this whole show.
What is it? Yeah. The internet. But I mean, again, great title for tonight's episode. So it'll be interesting to see what it's actually about. I'm assuming we get a little bit of witchcraft going on. So again, perfect. Imagine we won't have very much Lon Chaney Jr., which is kind of sad, even though he's supposed to be the host.
He's too busy on his other show giving advice.
Right, yeah. The tapes of which have been lost, unfortunately. They were not restored in time, and unfortunately we'll never know what that series was like. But we have 13
luckily we did get the novelization of that show, which became the classic kids book, My Therapist is the Wolfman.
There it is. Yes, perfect. I should have known Lon Chaney Jr. had something to do with that. Well, all right, Evan. Anything before we get into tonight's episode of 13 Demon Street?
The way you said never steal a warlock's life.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think that's also sound advice? Because if you steal his wife, he can come back for you, or he can come get you. But if you steal his life, what's he gonna do about it?
Well, again, I don't know. It depends on what are the rules? In what world are we talking? What are the rules? Because if a warlock has the power to reach out from beyond the grave, if he somehow can pierce the veil from beyond, then yeah, you probably don't want to steal his life either. But if it would benefit you to steal his life and there's no repercussions, then I say go for it. Well, again,
and then you can steal his wife.
This is all in the magical world of horrific make believe. Let's keep in mind, I'm not advising you to go out and kill any warlocks. Okay, that is not Scream Stream approved advice. Okay, can't blame us for any warlock
Welcome to
deaths.
our Inquisition stream. We're hunting witches.
Well, now, if we were gonna have Evan, if we were gonna have a witch hunt stream, we would turn it over to Sylarn. He's the only one that could lead the charge on that.
Right, yeah, we'll go jump on Truth Social and
yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. So can't go 2 feet without finding a witch hunt over there. I don't even want to know. Anyway, if you have it queued up, Evan.
I'm ready.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of 13 Demon Street. Never steal a warlock's wife. Right now.
You got it.
Dude, I still had to pause. It was really hard.
You just gotta pretend that you're playing Wheel of Fortune.
Oh yeah, that makes
They always
sense.
say the answers so carefully.
The wheel. Well, you have to, or they'll take it away from you, dude. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, Pat Sajak isn't like, are you sure?
No,
are you sure?
No, he's not gonna throw you a bone.
Are you sure it's Warlock's life?
Don't look to Pat to throw you a bone. And then who's it gonna be? Then it's Ryan Seacrest. He's not gonna throw you a bone.
Number 13 Demon Street.
No, he probably will.
I am condemned to live here.
He doesn't have the integrity of Pat.
Eternally. It is said that no greater outrage was ever committed by any mortal. But should I find a crime more heinous, my terrible punishment will end.
What? Come on! What's the point? What's the point? Did you film something or not? You know? I hate that.
That was just an outtake. He was just playing with a cat.
Uh-oh, birds. I already got a bit feeling about this.
Is this Monty
I think
Python?
you're just here to waste an old woman's time.
It does look like the pet shop.
I'm looking for a cat.
Good. I'm a mess of them.
Is I'm looking for a parrot.
I have a tawny short one and a black one.
Well, I don't want just an ordinary cat. I want a special kind of cat. A familiar. Yes, that's it. A familiar.
What?
You go to PetSmart looking for a familiar?
A familiar is a witch's cat. One that's used to cast spells. Are you a believer in such nonsense?
I take it, madam, that you're unable to supply me with a familiar. In that case, I'll trouble you no further. What is
Yeah,
it?
this guy's got some warlock-looking eyebrows for
Well, you don't
sure.
have to be a
I'll be
dick
getting
that
you
way.
one. Come with me.
Yeah, did you see the way she strong-armed him like that? Put her arm up like that. Ooh, this is cool looking.
Okay.
Well,
Got it in the
Yeah.
back.
Secret basement.
She keeps it in the back rooms.
faith knows you're thin and weird enough to be a witch's cat. If there was such a thing.
Excellent. How much do I owe you?
I'll take your
You'll be
weirdest cat.
understanding these
She is treating it
familiars ain't
like
little
drugs.
cats.
If there was such a cat, this might be kind of what you're looking
Against
for.
Your face, and they tells you things.
Yes, I know. I've read about them.
Then there's the herbs, the special ones.
All those witches' herbs.
Well, thank you all the same, madam, but I think I've got everything now.
The special
I've got
ones.
the candles and the chalk to draw the lines and the dried blood and the herbs and the book of spells.
I have the most of them all right, but you be short the needed herbs for the greatest spell of all.
Which is that?
The powders to cast the spell of murder.
But I don't.
Take it anyway.
The spell of murder.
I know when it'll come in handy.
You might need these murder powders, my guy.
But I don't believe in any of that.
Come on, have you seen this guy's eyebrows? He's obviously a warlock. I love that they decided to give this guy a makeup job. To be like, just in case you weren't sure who the warlock was gonna be. It's
Yes, dear.
Hubert the Warlock.
Look, Hubert. It's a bargain, isn't it lovely?
Perhaps less jewelry?
Jewelry. You know what it is like I do. Glass.
I'll get you the
What?
best as soon as ever we can afford it.
As soon as we can afford it. A cat?
Yes, I brought one home. I'm going to keep it in the study, dear, for research.
I won't have you bringing cats into my house.
I thought it was our house.
Hubert,
doing
don't be
cat
so dull.
research.
You know very well what I meant.
Yes, dear.
I warmed over the rest of the lamb for your dinner.
What? Warmed over the rest of the lamb.
I'm not really hungry. I think I'll go up.
So what's the plan here exactly? What is
Does
his?
he kind of end up killing his wife with this murder spell?
Including every spell and incantation known to ancient wizards, whereby sorcerers may gain wealth and power.
It's what a lot of people in this show are
Here,
looking
I brought it
for.
up to you.
They all fly a little too close to the sun. The son of Lon Chaney.
Science of necromancy. Why would any man in his
Look,
right
Florence, I've told you 1,000 times, faith is the one thing you must have. You can laugh if you like, but realize that as you do so, you may be costing yourself the money you so badly want.
Nonsense. You, did get your paycheck today, didn't you, darling? I've all kinds of bills to pay for.
And what do I get?
But don't be such a bore.
Wow.
Wow.
Hubert, you know I've that new coat to pay
Don't
for.
be a
and gone and
bore
spent a
asking
pound,
for any
whatever
of your own
for.
money.
Well, for the cat. But it's not a cat, really. It's a witch's helper.
You're getting crazier by the day.
Think so?
What? Oh my God, man! Oh, stop it.
I'm drunk.
No, you're not.
Magic.
I've learned things. Darling, you can have all the wonderful things you've always wanted, if only I can find the proper spell.
Proper spell, Lord. I married you to get me out of a dull little town to have luxuries you swore you could provide for me. Wealth, clothing, jewels. And what have I got? Nothing.
I'm doing my best.
And
I'm
I've
not a
been
very
such
good wizard.
wife.
Who's Jeffrey Cotter?
Uh-oh.
I'm doing my best. I learned the sleight of hand and everything.
I do believe you're jealous.
You wouldn't leave me, would you?
Don't be silly. Of course I wouldn't leave you. You do the incantations and I'll do the dishes.
Wow. Like, all right, you want to be a warlock? You go right ahead, honey. I trust you.
If only there were incantations powerful enough to make me 20 years younger.
Uh-oh. This guy looks like a thief to me.
He looks like he's going to steal a warlock's wife.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, they already got a thing going.
We've got to be very careful. Someone has carried stories to Hubert about us, and you know how jealous he is.
He's justified. Anyone in love with you would be jealous.
Hubert's been fooling around
Uh-oh.
with this magic of his, and it worries me. He does some strange
Uh-oh.
things. You know how I hate the creatures. This one seems to be
Nice.
able to read my mind.
So he's got a smart cat. It doesn't qualify him as a warlock, a sorcerer.
Couldn't conjure up an invisibility cloak, I guess.
Is this the best thing, my running away with you? What is this?
My address in South Africa. Drop me a line sometime.
South
You
Africa.
won't wait?
I'm driving to Southampton
Nope.
this evening. Selling the car, boarding the Southern Star. You're more than welcome to come along. In fact, I've done everything in my power to persuade you.
Yes, I know, but how will we manage in a strange country? What will we do for money?
That's the thing I've been trying to tell you. They've offered me a fine position as superintendent of mine down there.
See, I've got this cat and this book, and we'll be all right.
So don't. Stay here. And have everything but a man.
Right.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Now that's better.
Hubert's not happy.
The usual place. Don't be late.
I'll be there, darling.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
sure everything's in order before you leave the bank. And do not move till your armed escort is just behind you.
Sir, I've carried the Moorhead payroll hundreds of times. I've been with the bank and your late father for 20 years. Sir, isn't it about time I were considered for a teller's desk?
Ames, in the past, this bank has been run rather inefficiently. Now that I am in charge, we're going to clean out all the deadwood. I don't want more expenses, I want more efficiency.
Then no
Classic.
chance of advancement, sir.
Not at this time. Now, get on with it. Don't take up my time.
Don't take up my time.
And Ames, don't walk away from your armed guard like you did last week.
Oh, no, sir.
Wonder what he could have done when he walked away from his armed guard. Let's take a break right there. We'll call it. I'm at 11:59. So that was the exciting beginning of Never Steal a Warlock's Wife. What did we think so far, Evan?
I think we've got a pretty good setup so far. We've got a jealous Warlock.
Yeah.
The wife having an affair. There's
Yeah.
a cat in the mix.
Yeah, I wonder when he's finally going to actually use that cat for something. I hope he's not just keeping it up in his study, starving the
Yeah.
poor thing to death. But
I want to see him put it up to his face and see what it's going to tell him.
What secrets does it have? Yeah, that would be good to know, but he's really, I mean, he's playing his cards close to his chest, but we'll see what he has up his sleeve when they come around to the second half. We'll see.
Very nice.
Yeah. You like the magic, you like the
Yeah.
did you see the catch that?
I appreciate that. It seems like he started his journey into magic with like magician, like street magic.
Right. Yeah, just simple sleight of hand, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably has a pretty good repertoire of card tricks.
Yeah. You go to the witchcraft shop and they make you buy the beginner's kit first.
Right.
You have to be able to pull the rabbit out of the hat.
It doesn't
before they let you
matter.
cast
Yeah.
the spell.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You have to say, everybody, it's just like any kind of skilled sport. You have to start at the beginner level and work your way up. Just like anything else. You're not just good at magic. Not everybody can be Harry Potter, okay?
You got to start somewhere.
You do. Yeah, we're not all just getting a sorting hat put on our heads and getting put into Gryffindor, we're probably all more than likely Hufflepuffs, although I'd probably be sorted into Ravenclaw, but
okay.
And of course we know that Cylon would be Slytherin. We've had that. We figured that one out the other day pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, we want to get to the bottom of witchcraft. We want to know kind of the ins and outs. I mean, obviously Harry Potter is the cultural touchstone that we all have today. But, I mean, since the beginning of time, there has been this fear of people who possess these not otherworldly, what is the word? Just these powers, these forces that are kind of unexplainable. And, well, I guess why they call them the dark arts. Nobody's quite sure how they do it. But
my favorite part of Harry Potter was when he went to pick up the owl and the person at the pet store gave him a satchel full of murder powder.
Right, he said, well, you buy the bird, you get a cake of murder powder for free, and it's yours to do whatever you want with. You never know when you might need it.
Who gives him Hedwig? Is it Hagrid? Because honestly, Hagrid probably would give him a pouch of murder powder just for fun.
I don't know. I thought he got it like when he got the wand or got it, and I don't remember, dude. It's
Who
been
knows?
forever since I saw the movie or read the books or movies, but especially the first movie. You know, it's been years. And I mean, full disclosure, I only read the first 4 books. Full disclosure, I didn't really actually read them. They were read to
never
me.
Finished it.
But yeah, I didn't get past. I don't even think I read 4 really. I think I definitely got through the first 3. And then it was just movies after that. Just the movies. Like any good citizen of the world, you know. You try the book, you don't get through it, and so what do? You just go watch the movie. Kind of the easy thing to do, but you know, if you're got to write a book report, don't rely on that movie because chances are, as an adaptation, it's probably not very close. So that's what you got to love about movie adaptations. They're 2 different things, books and movies. So we'll see what's in when our Warlock's book, if he's got any spells to stop this man from absconding with his wife. Eloping? Would that word be? I don't know that I've really ever understood the word elope. But
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think eloping is something you have to do as 2 people, though.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
You don't really hear so much about, I guess you could say that he eloped with her, but in the sense that they went together, not that he took her.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he's really taking her. You know, I think she's going with him willingly.
She's being pretty willingly stolen.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's stealing her, but it's definitely like he also did just kind of convince her, and she said yes. But in the eyes of poor, I got Hubert. Poor Hubert. He's his wife has been stolen and he must get her back. So we'll see what lows Hubert sinks to in order to. I mean, he'll probably punish his wife too. I mean, you know, or something bad's going to happen to him. I mean, again, who's committing the crime here? I think that when we come back from the break, that's the question.
Yeah, that's our question.
That's our question.
We'll think about it.
Think about the crime. So we're gonna get this little break. You know, I've run out of Lon Chaney Jr. movie trailers. I've run out of Kurt Seod mock trailers. So what I'm doing now is I've cut up this long Lon Chaney Jr. television appearance into like 4 or 5 minute chunks. And I played it on our Halloween mixtape last year, and I'm not gonna have it on the mixtape this year, so I figure it's okay to reuse. But it is a extended it's a 2-part comedy sketch from his appearance on the Red Skelton Show with Bela Lugosi. So our pre-roll, we saw the first bit of the sketch, which was the 2 of them kind of, you know, bumbling around the lab, yelling at each other, just kind of doing dumb shtick. And so during the break, we're going to get the, like, you know, kind of the second part of the first half of this sketch, which is Red Skelton coming in and kind of goofing around with Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi, and it's a good time. So we'll get that, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of Never Steal a Warlock's Wife. So stick around, we'll be right back.
My experiment is almost complete. All I need now is the brain of a man. If I could only find a man with a brain that has never been used.
I think there's somebody out there.
Wonder who it could be this hour. Quick, put your fangs back in. You're supposed to look frightened. Ah, that's cute. Now answer the door.
I want a girl just like the girl that Mary dear old dad. Pardon me, is the lady of the house in? I'm your neighborhood brush salesman. Oh, I see you've been doing dishes. Well, I got some Linoln Plus that'll take care of that. That'll make those kissable again. This is going to be an easy sale.
Good evening.
Oh, how do you do? Are you the lady of the house?
No, I'm Professor Lugosi, and this is my half-brother. Half-brother, half-wolf.
Didn't I meet you at the city dog pond? Here, I've got some brushes here that I know that will interest you gentlemen.
You interest me, young man.
I do?
Yes, why don't you pull up a slab and lie down?
Yeah, I got some brushes here I'd like to show you here. I'm sure that you'll be interested in them. Got all kinds, you know. These brushes are imported. Yeah.
Perfect.
I knew you'd like them.
And unused, too.
Now, here's a wonderful brush I'm sure you'd be interested in. That's for people without hair. Say, could I interest you in a nice back scratcher, would you? Oh, I see you have one. Say, how about a moth spray? Here's a nice thing. Everybody needs a moth spray. I'll bet this place is full of moths. I'll bet this closet here is but smorgasbord. Must be one of Ruberosa's old closets, huh?
It's my sister, poor girl.
Oh.
She sleeps all the time.
Oh, really?
Yes, she was bitten by the tsetse fly.
Bitten by a tsetse fly? You mean a tsetse fly? You mean one of those mosquitoes after the caffeine has been removed. Don't ad-lib, kid. You're among stars. Your teeth? Now, I'm sure that I'm going to interest you fellows in something. You know, I never say die.
But we do.
I don't know. Here's something that might interest you fellas. This is a genuine mohair bristle. This is mohair bristle, and you should have heard Mo scream. This wood is imported from Denmark. This brush is either his or hers. I don't think I'm getting through to this boy at all. Now we have something with, let's see,
This brush is on sale.
yeah, this brush is... Please, one idiot on the board at a time. This brush is on sale, and with every brush, we give you absolutely free this gaily colored box of mothballs. Now, they are guaranteed not to run. These things...
He's out cold. Now we take him to my secret laboratory in the graveyard. That's the only place where can I work. It's so peaceful in the graveyard.
And we are back. So yeah, it's a fun little Halloween comedy sketch with Chaney and Lugosi and of course Red Skelton doing his shtick.
Sounded like Bullwinkle to me.
Yeah, which I had never thought about or noticed before until Evan pointed it out, but he's 100% right. They really do sound very similar. Maybe that's why I enjoy both so much. I really enjoy Rocky and Bullwinkle. I do really enjoy like Red Skelton. If you've ever, I mean, you can go find a lot of his like old episodes of his show over on Tubi, and it's even for old school comedy, it's very like can be laugh out loud funny at sometimes. And of course, the whole thing with his show is that like a lot of those early TV shows, it was filmed live, right? So I don't know if you could tell in that sketch, but there seemed to be a lot kind of going off the rails, possibly. That people I don't think have really been able to tell whether that was part of the sketch or whether legitimately Lugosi and Lon Chaney were just having problems like with their cues and with the script and with the cue cards. They were just like, and apparently that was one thing that Lugosi, had trouble with was ad-libbing. When other people would ad-lib, it would kind of throw him off of the script, which Karloff was also somebody who famously did not like when people would ad-lib. He preferred to stick to the script, and when he was having to shoot The Raven with Peter Lorre and Vincent Price, they would improv, especially Peter Lorre, and it would really frustrate Boris Karloff because he just, he would lose track of where they were supposed to be. And, meanwhile, Peter Lorre's just, the character he's playing is supposed to be drunk the whole time. So he's just hamming it up and like having a show. So, you can see old kind of Lugosi and Karloff coming from an older school of acting where it's just like, all right, this is the piece of paper. These are the pieces of paper I've been given. This is what we're going off of. If you're changing it, yeah, you got me. You're throwing me off. You got me blank. I'm not gonna know how to respond.
We were hired to do a job. Okay, we're reading what's on the page.
Yeah, and so that was one thing. Anytime that one of those guys went to do live TV, I don't think it was ever easy for them or Lon Chaney, because especially if you're going on a comedy show, you're at the mercy of some very skilled comedian who part of his whole job is ad libs, and especially Red Skelton. I mean, you go watch any old episode of his show, and he's gonna ad lib at some point. And it's pretty funny because most of the time, the other people you can see even in that sketch, you could tell like it seems pretty real, like Lugosi's kind of frustration and Lon Chaney's confusion and Red Skelton's exasperation with those things. He gets some pretty good ad libs out of it, which makes you think, okay, well, maybe it's all scripted, but it all is kind of palpable too. So I don't know. It's a fun little sketch, and that's just the first part. Next week, we'll get the part 2 of that sketch where they bring in another special guest. Yeah, and she is a lot of fun. You'll
there
see.
You go.
There you go.
I just like the giant syringe. I thought that was a lot of fun. We need to get one of those for our next Friday the 13th.
We do. We need more giant props. That's definitely, we got to get our hands on more oversized
giant props are always funny.
They're great, man. Give me a big foam cowboy hat at any day. I don't care if 3/4 of it is going to go out of the frame. Get me the big cowboy hat. Foam cowboy hat. Speaking of hats, let's see if the Warlock can pull a rabbit out of it as he attempts to stop his wife from being trying to rush a segue there. But no, we are about to see what this warlock is gonna do to stop his wife from being stolen by his romantic rival. It should be interesting. Again, we know somebody's gonna learn the lesson here. We know what the lesson is. Somebody's gonna learn it. And maybe even the warlock himself. Maybe it doesn't work out very good. Again,
Yeah, the lesson is going to be that magic rules and it will solve all your problems. Because he finally finds the spell that makes him 20 years younger and super rich.
yeah, that maybe this is the one episode of 13 Demon Street we get that has a happy ending, right?
Yeah,
maybe
there's no time in this one.
Yeah, it actually works out for everybody. Yeah, that's what I was gonna. So, who do you think is committing the crime tonight?
I think the dominoes are pretty stacked for a magical crime of passion, but maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe what's the other guy's name?
I missed it. They said it very
The other guy.
prominently.
Maybe the other guy will commit some kind of crime.
The other man. Yeah, maybe he will.
I mean, back then is adultery a crime? Like,
I think
is that the crime? The wife is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, not back when the show was made, but during contemporary to the time of the episode, which I can't tell when the episode's supposed to take. All this looks old school to me because it was shot in Europe, but you know, what are you gonna do? Everything in Sweden looks old. There, I said it. Yeah.
Well, it's Europe. Everything is old.
That's true.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what time your thing's supposed to be set in if your city is just like 1,000 years old.
Exactly. I'm having a real hard time with it. But we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. So, anything before we get into it, Evan?
I'm thinking this is gonna be Scarlet Letter. That's the crime, and that's the lesson. She'll have to wear that A. And everybody will know.
Okay. Yep. That's everybody's gonna have to pay. So, I think that's definitely a good bet. Very good. All right.
She's A for awesome.
That's right. A for awesome. That's what it stood for. I didn't read the book. I just watched the movie. No, I'm just kidding. I actually did.
It's the alternate ending. Hester goes around trying to convince everybody it means something else.
Oh my god, that would have been Nathaniel Hawthorne really kind of missed the opportunity there, didn't he? Just went with the drama. He could have really spun it into a female empowerment story. She embraces it. That's the movie Easy A. What am I thinking about? All right.
Yeah. Well, we know he loved women based on him writing that book.
That's true. Yep, he really did, didn't he? Well, on that note, Evan, if you have it queued up.
I'm ready.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of Never Steal a Warlock's Wife right now. Whoa. Scurrying off.
He got away. Made off with the money.
Yeah, kind of hard to play off running away like that. Such a little car. Look at that. So European. Whoa. Don't have any cell phones. Got to hop into this giant police phone booth.
Oh, what's this, darling? No dinner? Naughty girl, you've been out buying things again. I know by that happy glint in your eye.
Well, he's
Gilbert, I've
starting to
something to
talk
say to
like
you.
a wizard.
It's not something you're going to like, but it's something that must be said.
I know. You're planning to run away with another man. Go off to some foreign country.
How do you know that?
I'm a wizard, Harry.
Haven't I always given you everything I could?
I suppose you have, but it's not enough. I've decided. I can't wait for your dreams of wealth to come true or for those ridiculous spells to work.
Ridiculous spells, are they?
Stand back.
Take a look at this.
Oh, you know what? What have I
Where do
been
you think I
thinking?
got this? Magic.
Darling, I've misjudged you.
Oh.
You know what
I guess that's the crime.
Stealing the money. Well, you know what else I've forgotten about?
Pounds here.
I've forgotten about Chekhov's powder.
Where did you get it?
What difference does it make?
Where, Hubert?
Well, it's the 20th. You know what happens on the 20th of each month.
This is the Moorhead payroll.
The Moorhead payroll.
Whatever possessed you to do it?
Not the Moorhead payroll.
I promised you to be rich.
It certainly didn't mean stealing money.
Then you weren't coming.
I thought you just conjure it up.
And wind up serving the best years of my life in some prison when they catch us? No thanks.
But I only did it for you.
And do me one last favor, will you? Forget you ever knew me.
Damn.
If you leave me, I'll kill you and your lover.
Don't make me laugh.
Oh, don't never fuck with somebody whose eyebrows are arched to that degree, to that angle. It's a real, it's real proven thing that you have to look out for.
Yeah, he's looking pretty villainous. There we go.
The police.
This is what I wanted.
Yes, you're right.
Meow, 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 meow. Psst, psst, meow, meow, psst, psst, psst.
Something to confuse them. This is it.
Yes? Good, send him in.
Oh yes, the cheat code to remove all my
Jennings?
stars.
I'm Inspector Mallory, Scotland Yard.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
I'd like some information about AIM.
Such an awkward way to sit.
Well, he's very reliable. He's been with the bank for
What?
20 years.
See?
Something must have happened to him. Miss Scott,
We had to get them
give
both in
me
the frame.
Ames's home phone number.
It's true.
This is how people sit at a desk.
I'll call his wife and tell her to expect someone from Scotland Yard.
Do you think he was kidnapped?
It's the only possibility. He'd hardly plan to steal the Moorhead payroll.
Not the Moorhead payroll.
Yes. What do you
You'd
mean
know
you
better.
can't find it? There's a personal file with his home phone number and address. Get it.
It's gone.
That's rather strange that they can't find his address.
Probably misfiled it.
Probably. Except that we tried to find our folder on Ames not 5 minutes ago. We couldn't find it either. Well, I'll check with you later.
Of course, he has no friends. Nobody's ever actually been to his house to see where he lives. So, got nothing on file. You're never gonna find him.
Casting a confusion spell.
Oh my God.
They can't find the address, can they? Now, you're good at the little
Meow,
things.
meow, meow.
Let's see how good you are at murder.
Oh my god. Murder. Yep, there it is. Light it up. Whoa. Creepy. She's sitting in the back seat. Oh yeah, that's why she's sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
I'm so cold. It's almost as if the fog were his creation.
Shut up. I'm sick of Hubert and his black magic. And put away that bottle. It's no wonder you're beginning to see things.
Oh.
Fool shouldn't drive that fast in the fog.
Or was it?
Was it what?
Was it really a truck, or was it another of Hubert's little jokes?
I tell you, there's no such thing as a spell.
Well, don't tell that to Hubert.
Can't you see it?
See what? No, you're drunk.
Look out! We'll be burned to death!
Uh-oh. Oh. I was sure they were about to run off a cliff.
Now listen to me, Flo.
Yeah.
I want you to get a hold of yourself. There's nothing out there, I tell you. Nothing at all.
You don't see anything?
Nothing.
Then go ahead, I guess.
But that spell's foolproof. They should have done it.
You lied to me, whispering cat.
All right. Since you denied it again,
Gotcha, bitch.
don't strangers will
Meow.
disbelieve it. There's no way to kill them now they're on their guard? But there must be a way. Now, what do I do first? You're tricking me. I don't believe it.
He's just going fucking bonkers,
All right.
dude.
So it's dangerous. But I'm gonna do it.
I think he needs to like clean out his chimney or something.
My eyes! I can't see!
Oh no!
Oh, are we there? Please, please let us be there.
We're almost there, just the road along the cliff, so stop moaning before I lose what's left of my own mind.
Told me he'd kill us and I wouldn't listen. Detour sign.
What?
Point's right. Don't you see it?
You know what's in the fog to the right? Nothing. It's just 200 feet down to the rocks.
Look, there's another one. Detour sign, don't you see it?
What do you know? You've got me doing it now. I see a detour sign.
We should probably
Close
take
your
it.
eyes and we'll prove to him his spells don't mean a thing.
So let's just crash through the detour sign. Ooh! Where's the explosion?
Ooh.
No explosion? Is
That
it
proved
delayed?
him wrong.
Come on, do it. Oh.
At last.
They're all dead.
It's too late. I already burned the Moorhead payroll.
You'll never see your precious Moorhead payroll. Oh, wait, never mind. I left it on the floor. The only one left standing was the familiar. You gotta love it. Aw, damn. No lawn. Wow. Well, I think everybody got what they deserved. You know? Not to delve into it before the credits are done, but we'll go ahead and end it right there. So that was Never Steal a Warlock's Wife. What did we think tonight, Evan?
That one was pretty good. So the magic was real. You know, I wasn't sure if they were going to.
I think they left it open that if you wanted to logically explain it away, you could. Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
that guy got carbon monoxide poisoning because his chimney was not doing its job.
Right.
You see all the smoke that was like billowing
coming back.
into the
Yeah,
room
I
from the
think
fireplace.
that was definitely the problem for him. And then the other guy, it was just convincing himself that she was seeing things, and to the point that he convinced himself that he was seeing things. And if only he would have just like, okay, my eyes see a detour sign. Let me take that sign. You know, he kind of also really, you could logically explain that away, but you could also say it was magic. So they leave it up to you, I think.
So the rules, as we're saying, the rules seem to be that the magic only exists if you really, really believe.
Which isn't that always the way it goes, right? You have to have faith. You have to believe. Again, you know, I think of that. I always think of fucking Peter Pan and you know, always
we're operating on Lost Boys rules.
Specifically Hook rules, and you know, just, you know, clap, Peter, you gotta believe, you know. That's how it works. No, if only. It's life.
Yeah.
Life doesn't work that way.
Peter Pan is a warlock.
Pretty much, right? I mean, they're flying around. He's giving other people. He's sprinkling magic dust on people. Suddenly they got powers.
Young.
Right. He's got the eternal youth, right? It's definitely a witch power, without a doubt. And yeah, Tinkerbell is definitely some kind of, you know, witch familiar. And I mean, maybe Captain Hook's actually the good guy. He's a witch hunter. He's the witch finder, and Peter Pan's the witch, and you got these innocent kids who are being turned into witches. And it's
it
just,
sounds like you got a solid adaptation.
I was literally just as you said that, it occurred to me we called it. You makers of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, you can't do it. We've already called the version where Peter Pan is a warlock and he's
witch hunter Hook.
Hook's the witch hunter. He's actually the good guy. That's trademark, copyright, our ideas. So you can't do it. It's how it works. I've said it. I've willed it into existence. So
you gotta believe. That's the magic.
You gotta believe, Peter. You gotta believe. I mean, that's again, them's the rules. I love that we've established that Peter Pan rules are witchcraft rules. We've really like covered some momentous ground tonight. I'm really proud of us as a show. Proud of us.
We're making some deep connections.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. That's what this show is all about. That's why we do it.
So what do you think, where do you think this one stacks up crime-wise?
It's on the upper half. It's on the better end, I think. I want to give kind of my list up to now because next week this was our penultimate installment of 13 Demons Tree. Yeah, next week
we're getting close.
It's our final week, and we're gonna be doubling up next week. We're gonna get 2 episodes. So just before we like go into that, I think maybe it'd be kind of a good time now to kind of rank where we are. And since you're
Where
like
we're at
actually
now.
keeping track, I'd like to hear what you have, and then I'll kind of give my
Okay. Well,
condensed
let me just
ranking.
review my notes here. So just to recap our 8 episodes that we've seen so far. The first was Black Hand, where the surgeon steals the hands of a killer, becomes a killer himself. Second episode was Fever, where the kind of feverish painter was peeping on his neighbor.
Right.
It involves some fever dreams. We think somebody died in that one, but to be honest, I never really went back and double checked. The third episode was Green Are the Leaves. That was our ghost butler murdering a member of a TV crew and possibly some other people.
Right.
The fourth episode was The Book of the Ghouls,
Yeah.
which involved an occult ritual and 2 murders.
Right.
We had Vine of Death, where a wife accidentally kills her husband and covers it up.
Right.
The 6th episode was Gift of Murder with the voodoo doll. There's 2 murders in that one, and almost a third, but she turned the tide.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then last week's episode was Secret of the Telescope, and the crime there was that he accidentally caused his own death. Wasn't that it?
Something like that. I don't know. He kept seeing
Something like that. I
how
think
it
that one
would
ranked
play
pretty
out.
low for me.
So what are your
So I think
what are your rankings?
our number 1 was, I think for me it's the voodoo doll. That guy was like ruthless.
Damn, well, I guess you're ranking the severity of the crimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess for me, I'm ranking how much do I like each episode.
How
honestly.
interesting was the crime?
Yeah, how interesting was the crime? And
Well,
I think
it's a little bit of a different show. Lon Chaney is bound to this house until he finds a more interesting crime.
Well,
than the
I
one
mean,
he
that's
committed.
essentially heinous, interesting. What's the difference? You're just splitting hairs. If I was gonna give, okay, so I'd still want to go side by side because I would agree with I'm gonna agree with your most heinous ranking, but I'd say if I'm going just off of like, you know, which one is more interesting, I'd say number 1 is The Hand.
Do you ever watch Law and Order where they say some crimes are considered especially interesting?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the first episode, and then they realized maybe interesting isn't the right word. But
so
The Hand is the first one for that.
Yeah,
and then for
I
you, it's
think that
the
one was
voodoo.
Yeah, I think The Hand was probably my number 2.
Okay.
For most heinous.
Nice.
What is after that? Maybe The Butler? Maybe that's the next.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Book of the Ghouls, because that guy, like, he did kill somebody, but it was almost like a cop-out. I mean, he's still a murder, but...
Right. There was there was a good bit of murder going on in that one, though. I mean,
well, there was...
I mean, again, I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong train of thought. I'm on most interesting, which again, most interesting so far is in this order is the hand one, the Black Hand. To me, the second most interesting is the not the maybe the
Book of
no
the Ghouls.
Book of the Ghouls. Yeah, I think it's Book of the Ghouls and then the ghost one. and
Okay.
then the voodoo one. I do really like the voodoo one. And then I maybe place tonight's episode under that for most interesting. Vine of Death, and then this for most interesting.
Okay. So this was near the bottom for you for most interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't bad. I think it was better, actually. Okay, it was better than the Vine of Death. And because I liked the vine in that, but I didn't like the people and the crime. I didn't think that was very well executed. Like, it was a little confusing. And then the voodoo doll one, the crime, it was kind of a similar thing, but I did really like the way that they ended it, or the way that they framed it, with the wife confessing and actually getting the jump on her husband. I thought that was that was where they improved. Like, the Vine of Death kind of had a similar plot, I thought, because the husband was cheating on the wife, but it had a better play. So actually, maybe more in terms of more interesting, I actually like Vine of Death more than the voodoo doll one. I don't know, man. It's definitely Painters at the bottom for me.
Yeah, that one's my least favorite, I think.
Yeah,
so we've got some tough ones to beat, but we've got a doubling up, twice as likely next week.
Yeah, double header next week, and it'll be interesting. Again, it'll be the last episodes of 13 Demon Street that we watch this season, but it will not be the last bit of 13 Demon Street that we will see on the show, because we've only watched, after next week, we will have only watched 10 of the 13 episodes. We have 3 more episodes to get. They have all been condensed into a public domain anthology horror movie called The Devil's Messenger, starring Lon Chaney again as the host, but they kind of rework the frame story a little bit. He's like, I think in that he's the devil, I think, in The Devil's Messenger. And then,
Whoa.
Yeah.
What if he's the devil in this? What if that's the ultimate twist?
We'll see when we get.
He's got to find someone who's committed a worse crime than
the devil.
Rebelling against God.
That's might be kind of a tough bar to hurdle to.
He's going to be in that house for a long time.
Yeah, I think so. But who knows? Again, he's capable of a lot, so we'll see what he does. So it's not the end of 13 Demon Street on this show. I will wait a little bit though before we watch The Devil's Messenger. I'll give us a little bit of breathing room for 13 Demon Street. That's why I thought about showing it this season too, just to keep it all together. But I was like, you know what? No, the beauty of it being a separate movie is that we can come back to it later and be like, oh, remember when we watched 13 Demon Street? Remember how much fun we had?
Save it for a rainy day.
Leave it for a rainy day. So we're going to get the final 2 episodes that we'll see in this season next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So please join us for that. Thanks, everybody, so much for catching this penultimate installment of our weekly episode of 13 Demon Street. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Evan, as always. Of course, we are gearing up for our feature this Friday, and we have got a frightful flick lined up for you. I mean, really, it's kind of surprising. So this Friday, we are watching the 1922 film Haxan. Yes, it is a silent film, but it is about witchcraft. Again, we said it is Witchcraft Week on the show after tonight. And this is kind of like a touchstone in witchcraft in terms of the public's understanding of it, because what we're getting is like a documentary, like basically the director of the movie studied the, I'm not going to get the name right, you're gonna have to help me, Evan, the Malefic, the, what is the witch book, Maleficarum, whatever it's called,
that thing.
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about.
I can't say the name right, and I'm not going to attempt past what I've already tried, because I'll say it wrong. But basically, the director of the movie studied that and then adapted this as his presentation of it. He's like, here's my presentation of everything I've learned about witchcraft. But he mixes in dramatizations of witch and warlock activity. And it gets really creepy, and in some cases really genuinely frightening and unsettling, and even in some cases incredibly gross. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I was like, I haven't seen this movie all the way through, but I was watching it and I saw the scene, and I've heard about this in witchcraft legend and lore. And I was surprised to see it in a 1922 silent film, because it is really scandalous for that time. Nowadays, you're like, oh, somebody would try to do that to be edgy, but they do it. They do it in this movie like, this is witchcraft, and you're like,
to be authentic.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa, like, yeah, they're going for it. So it's, and there's nudity. Like, this is a very extreme movie for the show. It's also very long, so we'll have to kind of play to that and kind of keep our segment short. But it is the perfect Halloween, like, for this time of year. Like, we hit it just right. I've not seen this all the way through before, so I'm super excited to be getting into it right now. Because I mean, I'm having, I don't know about everybody out there, but I'm having a great October. I'm having a lot of fun. And I think this movie is just going to kind of, if you're just not quite there, again, if you've been really busy this October, if you're just looking for something to kind of kick it into next gear, Haxon's the movie to do it. We're going to be here with it this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So please, please, please join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, if you want to catch up on any of our past episodes, you can go find those over on our YouTube page. We're over there at Scream Stream Live. We're also running around on all the socials. Twitter. I can't not say Twitter. Twitter X, Twitter X. It's going to drive me crazy. That thing. Instagram, TikTok, at Scream Stream Show. You can also find me over on X at Spakenstein. And of course, Mr. Evan Sink you can find on Instagram and X at Caligari Curse. I see Fresh Rogan. What up in the chat? Right as we're signing off. What up? Good to hear from you right at the end. I hope you're doing well, Fresh. We're just closing out this episode of 13 Demon Street, but we're gonna be back in it this Friday for Haxon. This, please, Fresh, whatever you do, you would, even though it's a silent movie, I promise you would love it. It is a wild, like, no silent movie has this kind of imagery, this kind of, like, again, you know, I think it's in the strikingness of its imagery. I think it's only comparable to Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and it's a totally different. It's a realistic style. Caligari's obviously stylized. This is like, it's really trying to make you think that you're looking at witches and devils and demons, and I mean, for 1922, the special effects are there. They're there. Special effects, man. There's a lot of good stuff. Again, when we watched The Phantom Carriage, we were like, oh, there's some like decent special effects here. The Haxan blows it out of the water. Haxan, I mean, again, people are flying around on broomsticks. You have a devil. Like, I mean, again, and the really scandalous scene, I'm not even going to describe to you. I'm just going to tantalize you and tell you, for that alone, you should watch it. I'm trying. I'm not going to tease it too much. I thought of a way to tease it more. I'm like, no. Very heinous movie. So you really, 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 everybody should check it out. I'm very excited for this. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Fresh, for popping in here. Evan, as always, killing it with your running list. So we thank you. Anything before we sign off tonight?
I think the real lesson tonight was Hubert should maybe have practiced a few more card tricks first.
Magic is a skill.
You got to start slow with magic.
Mm-hmm. We definitely learned that. Learned it the hard way.
Pulling a quarter out from somebody's ear is the white belt of witchcraft.
So that's what we learned tonight. Magic is like martial arts. So
like karate.
Like magic is like karate. So, on that note, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.